friends, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. For today's video, I'm going to be going over everything I spent in the first week of October, and technically a little bit more than that. The first 10 days is what we're tracking today. I've got my expense tracker here. I'm going to write down absolutely everything I spent. So if you're interested in seeing what we spent in the first 10 days of the month and how I categorize it and break it down, just keep watching. There is nothing more important to my budget than tracking my spending. You can write a budget every single month, but if you're not tracking what you're spending and where your money goes, then it's really a wasted effort. So today I'm going to be writing in everything I spent for the first 10 days of the month. If I flip back to my calendar here, you can see that the first of the month, let's move all my cute little accessories here. The first of the month was on a Saturday, and my husband gets paid on Tuesday. So we had some stuff come out on the first couple of days of the month, but we didn't actually get paid until the 4th. The way that I handle that is I do 99% of my spending on a credit card. I put everything on a credit card and then I pay that credit card off each week. And that's how I'm able to do that. We also have a pretty significant cushion in our checking account that helps with that. And so I've gotten some questions about how I do my budget monthly when we're paid, not necessarily on the first of the month, and that's how I do it. So we're tracking from the 1st to the 10th. Technically, I could have come in last week and tracked like the first couple of days of the month. Typically like to sit down on Tuesdays when my husband gets paid and do my budget. But we had my husband on vacation this whole first full week of October, and so I didn't really do any filming. I pre-filmed a bunch of stuff and posted it for you guys last week. I just spent as much time with my husband as I could while he was home from work. So we're going to be tracking from the 1st all the way through the 10th, and then next week we'll track from the 11th to the 17th for, that full week of pay. So I'm going to go ahead in my expense tracker here. If you are looking at these worksheets and wondering where you can get some for yourself, I do sell my budget printables on my Etsy shop. The pattern you are looking at here is my Pop of Plaid pattern. This is the collection of worksheets I released for October that are available right now. That I also wanted to let you guys know, just in case you missed that announcement, I have November available as well, and it's this really gorgeous harvest pattern that I think is perfect for autumn, Thanksgiving, all the November vibes. So I have these worksheets available as well. My Etsy shop is linked down below in the description box, and I do have a 15% off coupon code for my YouTube friends here. It is YTFriend. It'll take 15% off your order, no matter how big or small. All of my printables are all of my worksheets are printable worksheets, so nothing will be mailed to your home. You just download the file, print it as many times as you like. I've got tons and tons of various worksheets and patterns, a little bit of something for everyone. So head on over to my Etsy shop. It's Jwhackers. I'll have it linked, and get yourself some worksheets and get started. We're moving into the holiday season. It's more important than ever to stay on top of your budget, and my worksheets will help you with that. Alright, so let's get started. The way that I like to track my expenses, I like to do a new expense tracker for each week of the month. So in this case, it's a little bit more than a week, but for whatever period of time I'm tracking my expenses, I like to use a fresh expense tracker. I don't worry about the deposit and the ending balance. That's not how I use the expense tracker. You can use it as a sort of check register where you can write in, when you get paid and keep track of your balance that way. I don't really do it that way. I just focus on what I spent for the week. I write in the date, the transaction, I categorize it, and then once I get all of the spending for the time period written in, I go in with my highlighters, categorize everything that way, and it helps me to really easily be able to plug all of that information into my hybrid budget worksheet here, and that's how I keep track of how I'm doing overall for the month. You will see that process where I check in with my monthly budget here in a separate video. For today, we're just focusing on the expense tracking. So on the first, as you do, you have to pay all of those pesky housing fees, whether it be, you know, rent or mortgage or whatever. At least that's when mine's due. We own our mobile home, but we don't own any land, so we're in a mobile home community, so therefore we have to pay lot rent. And that amount is $553. Oops, look at me trying to write that in the category section. You would think I'd never done this before, you guys. So the category for that is bills. The amount was $553. So that's how I do that. Also on the first, in addition to lot rent, I had to pay my water bill, and the water, lot rent, and our cable bill is actually all one transaction. We pay them all together to our mobile home community, but I like to break it out by each category, because while the lot rent doesn't fluctuate, the water bill does. And so I just like to kind of keep track of how much water we're using. For water, again, the category here is bills. We paid $37.48. And then, like I mentioned, also our cable. This is for high-speed internet, as well as cable TV. Our mobile home community did a deal with our local cable company to get it as a bundle, and it's a little bit cheaper. The amount we paid was $69. All right. So that was it on the first. On the second, we had some shopping. The transaction was for Walmart. So this category, I'm going to put it under food, and you're going to be like, Jessie, what you bought is not food. We bought flea medication for our cats. That was $42.38. The way that I do my budget, all of my food and household items, plus eating out, is all kind of under this one category, which is food. The reason I do that is just because we tend to do our grocery shopping at Walmart, and at the same time we're also picking up our household items, and I don't want to have to sit and go through my receipt at the end and separate those things out, and I don't want to have to do multiple transactions, so I just lump it all together as one category, and that's food. But I promise we're not eating flea meds. Okay, so that was an online purchase. They have been not having my pet's flea medication in store, but you can get it online, luckily, and I'm a Walmart Plus member, so I get free delivery, which makes it super easy. So the next day we actually went and did our grocery shopping. So again, that's Walmart. And again, that's food or grocery or whatever. I think I usually call this grocery. It's fine. We're going to call it food this time. I know what I mean, and that's all that matters. The amount I spent was $183.80. Last month, I said that I had a lot of food on hand, so I wouldn't be spending a lot in October for groceries. And yet that hasn't really been the case, so I don't know, we'll see how that goes. Alright, and then on 10/4, yet another Walmart thing, and this was, again, a delivery. We're gonna mark it again as food. You know, I should have titled this grocery. I usually do. I don't know where my brain is at today. But we're just gonna go with it. And we ordered a fruit fly trap, because we have had so many fruit flies and that was $8.80. Okay, and then we paid a bunch of bills. Oh, well, first we got gas while we were at Walmart, and that is the Murphy station. I think technically we got gas on the 3rd when we went and did our grocery shopping, but for whatever reason the transaction didn't clear until the 4th. It's fine. The amount was $51.23, and that was gas. Okay. Then, as I said, we paid some bills. So we paid for HBO Max. So that category is bills. And the amount there was $15.81. We also, on this day, paid our phone bill. So that's with Boost Mobile. Again, the category is bills, and the amount there was $120. That's what we pay for 4 lines of unlimited talk, text, and data. Let's see what else. We made our camper payment this day, so I'm just going to write camper. And that category is debt. So the way that I differentiate between debt and bills, debt will someday be paid off and go away. Bills will be sticking around forever. The amount we paid for our camper was $200. And then we also made a payment for our golf cart. We have a golf cart that we have at our camper that we're making payments on. Again, that is debt, and that amount was $150. And was that it for the bills then? That was it for the bills, but then we also went to Kroger this evening. And we used our food budget to grab some drinks from the Kroger gas station there, and that was $4.38. All right. Then we didn't have any transactions on the 5th. On the 6th, we had a trip to Meijer. My husband needed to buy an orange hat for hunting. This could have come out of our hunting budget. Instead, we're just going to take it out of our, food and household budget. And that was $9.09. Then we had nothing until the 8th. And this is where we did our first eating out, at least on paper. I did do some eating out with my spending money. I don't really track our spending money on my expense tracker because it's in cash. I just kind of spend it until it's gone, and when it's gone, I'm done spending. So on the 8th, we went to Tim Hortons. This was after before actually a soccer game. We went and grabbed some breakfast for all of us, and the amount was $16.47. We tried really hard to keep our eating out in check, and spend less, because you guys know that is where we tend to overspend the most. So we did okay. Not great, but okay. So that was $16.47. And I need to silence my phone. Sorry about that, friends. And this month I combined our eating out and grocery and household and all of that. In months past, I've done a separate eating out budget, but we're trying this time. I figure if I'm eating out less, I might have to spend more on groceries and vice versa. So hopefully the two will balance each other out. When I had separate budgets, I was spending all of that budget and then some regardless. So like if I had $1,000 for groceries and $500 for eating out, I was spending $1,500. This way, having it all together, I'm hoping I'll spend less. So we'll see. It's just an experiment. The great thing about budgeting and personal finance is that it's personal. You can do it any way you want. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone but you. So that's what we're doing this month. On On the 9th, we had to get more gas. Soccer season officially ended this week, so hopefully the gas spending will be less moving forward, but we'll see. And the amount we spent on gas was $59.01. All right, and then 2 more transactions. We had on the 10th another eating out thing. We've been trying, if we're gonna eat out, we've been trying to do either lunch or breakfast instead of dinner because it's just cheaper in general. We went to Burger King and we grabbed breakfast and it was $14.39. And this was actually my son and I, we went to the gym and then we swung by Burger King because Austin was starving, and so I fed him before I dropped him off at school. And then last but not least, we paid one more bill, and that was Michigan Gas. This is our gas company. The category is bills, and the amount spent was $67. So that's it. That's everything. I can tell you that we also spent all of our spending money that we had given ourselves for the week, so you'll see that reflected when we do our weekly check-in, but that's another video. Right now, we're going to get all of these things categorized and added up so that when I do my check-in, it's super easy just to transfer the information from one worksheet to another. And that's where this handy calculator is going to come in. So I've got my mild liners here. I just kind of grabbed a handful. I always use blue for bills, and actually I'm going to grab my yellow one because I always use yellow for food. Where is it? I've just got my big cup of pens here that I'm trying to sort through to find the color that I want. Well, that's not the color I want, but we're going to go with it. So I'm going to use this for food. For debt, I'm going to use this one. Typically for gas, I use pink, but I don't have pink here, so we're just going to go with this color. And I think that's it, right? Bills, food, debt, and gas. All right, let's get these highlighted. So we'll start with bills. I'm just going to go down the list, add things up, and highlight as I go, and we're going to get a total. So we start with lot rent for $553, and then water for $37.48. Cable for $69. Skip down here to HBO Max for $15.81. $120 for Boost. Plus $67 for Michigan Gas. Believe that's all the bills. So our total for bills for this week was $862.29. And I'm certain that if I make any mistakes, you guys will point them out. I'll also double check my math kind of off camera, but we'll go with that for now. All right, food. I'm gonna hold my breath for this one because we had a lot of food transactions. I thought we had done better in terms of food spending for these first 10 days of the month, because we didn't eat out quite as much, but I don't know. Let's find out. So we had $42.38. And then we had $183.80. $880. We had $438. $909. So I guess we had a lot of transactions, but most of them were pretty small. Of course, even small transactions add up. Plus $1647. plus $14.39. Okay, so for 10 days, I don't know, you guys will have to tell me, is that a lot? Is it a little? Typically, we would budget like $200 a month for groceries, or a week for groceries, and then $50 for eating out. In this case, if you add it up, we spent more than that, but it is more than a week. It's technically 10 days, so I don't know. We'll just kind of have to see how the rest of the month goes, but $279.31. All right, next we'll do gas, which I think I said I was going to do in this color. So for gas, we had $51.23 plus $59.01. So we spent, yikes, $110.24 on gas. Gas prices had a bit of a resurgence. They were up pretty high there. And when it comes to gas, it's like you can only do so much, right? Like you can look for the cheapest gas station, you can drive as little as possible, but in the end, you got to get where you got to get. So I don't know. I don't feel the same way about gas spending as I do like food spending. We have more control over that, in my opinion. All right. And then last but not least, we have debt. So we paid our camper for $200 and our golf cart for $150. I don't need my calculator for that. So for debt, we paid $350. So let's go ahead and get a total for how much we spent overall. It's not completely accurate because we're not taking into account like our personal spending money, but it's close enough. $862.29 plus $279.31 plus $110.24 plus $350. Whew, okay, $1,601 with 84 cents. Yikes, that's a lot for 10 days. Seems like it anyway. You guys will have to tell me. Does that seem like a lot to you? All right, so that's it for my expense tracking for the first 10 days of the month. I'd be interested to hear how this kind of spending compares to your spending. We spending a lot more, a lot less. Obviously, there's different variables like how big your family is, where you live, all of those things count, but I'm just kind of interested. So yeah, that's it. I will be back tomorrow with my weekly check-in where I take all of these numbers we got today, plug them into my monthly budget, and get a look at how we're doing overall so far, about a quarter of the way into the month. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. That helps out my channel so much. Don't forget to check out my Etsy shop if you're interested in budget printables. I'll see you guys real soon for another video. Bye, friends.